Learning about Zyra. The door shakes. The knocking turned into pounding. Heavy. Rhythmic. Whoever, or whatever, was outside, they weren't knocking politely. They were trying to break in. Alex stood frozen, his heart hammering against his ribs. His mind screamed at him to move, but his body wouldn't listen. Zyra, on the other hand, was calm. Too calm. She raised her wrist, pressing something on a sleek, holographic device strapped around it. Immediately, the blue shimmer covered her body. Her skin turned dull, her features blurred, and within seconds, she was invisible. Alex's mouth fell open. What the hell? Before he could say another word, Zyra grabbed his arm and pulled him toward the closet. Her grip was strong, stronger than any human woman's. "Hide," she whispered. "Are you kidding me?" Alex hissed. "This is my apartment." Zyra turned to him, her silver eyes, now barely visible, flashing with urgency. "You do not understand. If they see you with me, they will take you. You are now involved." Alex swallowed hard. He didn't like the sound of that. Another loud bang. The door's hinges groaned. Zyra pushed him into the closet. "Stay silent." Before he could protest, the door burst open. Unwanted visitors. Alex held his breath. Through the thin slits in the closet door, he saw 3 figures step into his apartment. They were tall, at least 6.5 feet, wearing sleek, black metallic armor. Their movements were precise, controlled. Their helmets covered their faces, but their glowing red visors swept across the room like scanners. They weren't human. They weren't from Earth. One of them spoke in a low mechanical voice. "Subject detected. She was here." A second one stepped forward, scanning the room with a humming device. The sound sent shivers down Alex's spine. Residual cloaking energy. She has gone into stealth mode. The third one pulled out something that looked like a weapon, a long, sleek rifle with glowing green energy at its core. Scan for life signs. She will not escape. Alex clenched his fists, his breathing shallow. He couldn't move. He couldn't even blink. These guys weren't just looking for Zyra. They were hunting her. A silent escape. For several tense moments, the figures moved through the apartment, scanning, searching. Alex could feel Zyra nearby, though he couldn't see her. Then, just as one of the soldiers turned toward the closet, crash. The lamp on Alex's bedside table suddenly fell over, shattering into pieces. The soldiers whipped around. Movement detected. One of them fired his rifle. A burst of green energy shot across the room, hitting the wall with a loud, sizzling hiss. But Zyra was already moving. Alex barely saw a blur before the window shattered, and Zyra leaped outside. "She's fleeing," one of the soldiers barked. They rushed to the window. But in the same moment, Zyra reappeared behind them, her cloaking dropping as she grabbed Alex's hand. "Hold on," she whispered. Before he could protest, she pressed something on her wrist. A sudden jump. The air around Alex warped. For a split second, he felt his entire body twist, as if being pulled through a tiny hole in space. His stomach flipped, his skin tingled. Then suddenly, darkness, silence. Then, a soft humming sound. Alex stumbled, nearly falling over. The floor beneath him was cold, smooth, and metallic. He blinked rapidly, trying to adjust. They were no longer in his apartment. The hidden base. Alex looked around, his pulse still racing. They stood in a large, dimly lit room filled with glowing blue screens and strange floating devices. The walls were metallic, covered in alien symbols he couldn't understand. "What? Where the hell are we?" he gasped. Zyra took a deep breath. "A safe house. One of my hidden bases on Earth." Alex spun toward her. "You have bases on Earth. Just how many aliens are living here?" Zyra hesitated, more than you would expect. But that is not important right now. She moved quickly to one of the screens, tapping at it. A holographic map appeared, showing a grid of the city with blinking red dots. Alex stepped closer. "What is that?" Zyra's voice was tense. "Them." Alex's stomach dropped. "You mean the guys in my apartment?" Zyra nodded. "They are part of a faction that does not want humans to know we exist. They will eliminate any risk of exposure, including you." Alex exhaled sharply. "Great, just great. So I'm on an alien hit list now." Zyra turned to him, her expression unreadable. "Yes." Alex ran a hand down his face. This had to be a dream. A messed up, sci-fi nightmare. He was just a regular guy. He worked in an office. He played video games. He had zero experience with aliens, secret bases, or deadly bounty hunters. And now he was apparently on the run from extraterrestrial assassins. The real reason. "All right," he said, trying to stay calm. "I need answers. Why were those guys after you? And don't just say research. That's not enough." Zyra hesitated again. Then, finally, she sighed. "I told you I was studying human mating rituals," she said. Alex crossed his arms. "Yeah, and that's still weird, by the way." Zyra ignored him. "The truth is, my species is facing a crisis, a genetic collapse. We are slowly dying out." Alex frowned. "Okay." Zyra's silver eyes locked onto his. "We believe humans might be the key to saving us." Silence. Alex stared at her, his brain struggling to keep up. Wait. Are you saying?" Zyra took a step closer. "I was not just studying human relationships. I was studying compatibility. Human DNA may be the missing link that could restore my people." Alex blinked. "So what? You were just gonna hook up with a human and see what happens?" Zyra tilted her head. "If necessary, yes." Alex groaned. "Oh my God." Then the alarm blared. Zyra turned to the screen, eyes narrowing. "They found us. The threat arrives. The chase begins." The air in Alex's apartment was thick with tension. The door shuddered violently, the metal frame groaning under the pressure of whatever was outside. It wasn't just knocking anymore. Something was trying to break in. Alex's mind raced. His instincts screamed at him to run, to hide, to do something, but his body refused to move. Across the room, Zyra stood completely still, listening. Her silver eyes glowed faintly as if processing thousands of calculations at once. Then, without warning, she grabbed Alex's arm and pulled him away from the door. "We cannot stay here," she said, her voice low. Alex barely managed to keep his footing. "No kidding. Who the hell is outside? What do they want?" Zyra shot him a glance. "They are not here for you, Alex." That did nothing to calm him down. "That doesn't make me feel any better." A deep mechanical voice suddenly spoke from the other side of the door. "Zyra, you cannot run forever. Open the door. Now." Alex felt his blood run cold. The voice was not human. Zyra's jaw clenched. "They found me faster than I expected." Alex took a shaky step back. "Who exactly is they?" Zyra turned toward him, her silver gaze filled with something he hadn't seen before, something close to fear. "Hunters." Breaking in. The door burst open with a loud metallic crunch. 3 tall figures stepped into the apartment. They were humanoid, but not human. Their armor was sleek and black, designed for combat, and their helmets had a single red visor that glowed in the dim light. The air around them crackled with energy, their weapons humming softly. The tallest of them took a step forward, scanning the room. "Surrender. This will be painless." Zyra moved instantly. She grabbed Alex's wrist, pressed something on her wristband, and suddenly, the world blurred. Teleportation gone wrong. For a brief moment, Alex felt like he was falling through nothingness. His skin tingled, his lungs burned, and his vision filled with streaks of blue light. It lasted only seconds, but it felt like forever. Then, with a violent jolt, they reappeared, midair. Oh, crap. Alex barely had time to register that they were falling before they hit something solid. The impact knocked the wind out of him as he landed hard on a smooth metallic surface. He groaned, blinking rapidly to clear his vision. Zira landed gracefully beside him, rolling into a crouch. Alex gasped for air. What the hell was that? She didn't answer. Instead, she was already moving, scanning their surroundings. They had landed on a rooftop. Below them, the city stretched out in all directions, endless streets filled with neon lights, cars moving like tiny glowing insects. The teleport had worked, but not perfectly. We did not jump far enough, Zira muttered. Alex coughed. What does that mean? Before she could answer, a loud explosion shook the rooftop. Alex turned just in time to see a glowing green projectile slam into the ground near them, sending up a shower of sparks. He spun toward Zira. Tell me that wasn't what I think it was. Zira didn't look at him. Instead, she pulled out a sleek, silver device from her belt and pressed a button. A holographic screen flickered to life, displaying red warning symbols. They tracked the jump. Alex felt his stomach drop. You mean, they are already here? The hunters attack. A low hum filled the air. Alex turned and saw 3 shadowy figures land on the rooftop, the same armored soldiers from his apartment. They moved with unnatural precision, their bodies almost gliding over the surface. Their weapons hummed, glowing with green energy. One of them raised a hand. Target located. Prepare for retrieval. Zira didn't hesitate. She grabbed Alex's hand and yanked him into motion. Run. Alex didn't need to be told twice. A deadly rooftop chase. They sprinted across the rooftop, dodging bursts of green energy as the hunters opened fire. The air was filled with the crackling sound of plasma bolts, each one leaving behind a trail of sizzling heat. Alex barely avoided a direct hit, the shot burning a hole through the ground where he had been standing just seconds ago. Zira, he gasped, struggling to keep up. What do these guys want? Why are they chasing you? Zira didn't answer immediately. She leaped over a ventilation unit, spun midair, and fired a shot from her own small energy pistol. The blast hit one of the hunters in the shoulder, knocking them back. She landed smoothly and kept running. They are not chasing me, she finally said. Alex almost tripped. What? They are after you now, too. He felt a chill run down his spine. Me? Why me? Zira jumped over another gap between buildings. Because you know too much. Alex stared at her in disbelief. Just a few hours ago, he had been a normal guy in his normal apartment with his normal boring life. And now, he was running across rooftops, dodging alien assassins who wanted to erase him from existence. Nowhere to run. They reached the edge of the rooftop. Zira stopped, scanning the area frantically. Alex followed her gaze and felt his stomach twist. The building across from them was too far away to jump. There was no exit, no cover, no way out. They were trapped. Alex turned back. The hunters were closing in. Their leader raised his weapon, the barrel glowing with charged plasma energy. This was it. No way out. Then Zira grabbed Alex's face, forcing him to look into her silver eyes. "Do you trust me?" she asked. Alex blinked. "What? Do you trust me?" He swallowed hard. Then, despite every single logical thought in his brain screaming no, he nodded. Zira's eyes softened. Good. Then she did something insane. She wrapped her arms around him and jumped off the rooftop. Alex had just enough time to scream before they disappeared into the night. Escape and unexpected consequences. The fall. Alex's stomach lurched as the wind howled around him. For a brief, terrifying moment, they were weightless, plunging into the abyss below. His heart hammered against his ribs. His brain screamed, "We're going to die." Then, just before they hit the ground, Zyra pressed something on her wrist. A pulse of blue energy erupted around them. The air thickened, the wind resistance increased, and suddenly, the fall slowed dramatically. Instead of hitting concrete at deadly speed, they drifted down like leaves caught in a breeze. Alex landed on the pavement with a thud, his knees buckling under him. He groaned, dizzy and breathless. Zyra landed smoothly beside him, unaffected. What the hell was that? Alex gasped. Zyra glanced up at the rooftop they had just jumped from. A gravitic stabilizer. It slows acceleration by 87% within a 30-meter radius. Alex shook his head. You could have warned me. I did ask if you trusted me. Before Alex could respond, a green bolt of plasma smashed into the ground inches from his foot. The hunters were still in pursuit. Zyra grabbed Alex's arm. We must keep moving. She took off down the alley. Alex, still struggling to get his breath back, had no choice but to follow. A city unlike he knew. They burst out of the alley into a busy city street. Neon signs flickered in the night. Cars zipped past. People laughed and talked, completely unaware that two fugitives were running for their lives. Zyra weaved through the crowd with unnatural speed, her eyes scanning for their next escape route. Alex stumbled behind her. Where are we even going? A secure location. You said that last time, and we almost got killed. Zyra didn't answer. Instead, she grabbed his hand and pulled him toward a rundown old subway entrance. The metal gate was rusted, a closed for renovation sign hanging over it. Alex hesitated. Zyra, this place doesn't look very secure. Zyra ignored him. She reached out, pressed her palm against the wall beside the entrance, and suddenly, the entire wall shimmered. The rusted gate, the broken concrete, it was all an illusion. The subway entrance was actually a hidden doorway. Alex barely had time to process it before Zyra pushed him inside. The door slid shut behind them. The hidden underground. The space inside was massive. Bright blue lights lined the walls, illuminating a metallic tunnel stretching deep underground. The air smelled of cool metal and electricity, and the hum of hidden machinery vibrated beneath Alex's feet. What is this place? He breathed. Zyra's expression was unreadable. One of my species' hidden bases. Alex turned to her, stunned. You mean to tell me there are alien bases underneath my city? Zyra nodded. There are more than you think. Alex exhaled. He was in way too deep now. The truth revealed. They moved deeper into the underground base. Zyra led him through a large, circular chamber filled with floating holographic screens and sleek alien technology. The screens flickered with complex data and images, but what caught Alex's eye was the 3D projection of Earth. Dozens of red markers blinked on the map. Alex frowned. What are those? Zyra hesitated. Then finally, she said, monitoring sites. Alex narrowed his eyes. Monitoring what, exactly? Zyra turned toward him, her silver gaze steady. Human genetics. A chill ran down Alex's spine. What? Zyra took a slow breath. I told you before that my mission was to study human mating rituals. That was only partially true. Alex crossed his arms. Oh, great. Here comes the real story. Zyra met his gaze. My species, the HFY, is dying. Silence. Alex blinked. Dying. Our genetic code is deteriorating. We have advanced technology, but we have reached an evolutionary dead end. We are becoming infertile. Within the next 3 centuries, we will go extinct. Alex exhaled. Damn, that's heavy. Zyra continued. We have searched for solutions. No method has worked. But then, we found Earth. We found humans. Alex frowned. What does that have to do with anything? Zyra's voice was quiet. Humans are genetically unique. Unlike most intelligent species, your DNA is highly adaptable. Your genetic diversity, your resistance to disease, your ability to evolve quickly. It is unlike anything we have ever encountered." Alex took a step back. He suddenly had a very bad feeling about where this was going. Zira studied him carefully. "I was sent here to observe, to learn. But I also had another mission." Alex swallowed. "Which was?" Zira hesitated. Then softly, she said, "To determine whether humans and Siluri are biologically compatible." Silence filled the room. Alex stared at her. His brain refused to process what he had just heard. Finally, he spoke. "Are you telling me you were here to figure out if aliens and humans can have kids?" Zira nodded. Alex ran a hand down his face. "Oh my God. A dangerous truth." He took a deep breath, forcing himself to stay calm. "Okay, let's say I believe you. Let's say your species is dying, and humans might be the answer." He looked her in the eye. "What does that have to do with the guys trying to kill us?" Zira's gaze darkened. "Not all Xilari agree with my mission." She turned back to the holographic map, flicking her wrist. The display shifted, revealing a different set of red markers. "These are not monitoring stations." She pointed to the blinking dots. "They are erasure sites." Alex tensed. "What do you mean by erasure?" Zira's voice was grim. "The faction chasing us. They do not want humans to know we exist. They do not want cross-species contact. They see your kind as inferior, a contamination risk." She turned toward him. "And if they succeed, they will wipe all evidence of my mission." Alex felt his stomach drop. "You mean?" Zira nodded. "Yes, that includes you." The final warning. A heavy silence settled between them. Alex's mind was spinning. He had gone from a normal office worker to a fugitive in an intergalactic conspiracy in less than a day. Finally, he took a deep breath and looked at Zira. "So what do we do now?" Zira studied him. Then she said something that made Alex's blood run cold. "We run." The truth about Zira's mission. Running out of time. Alex's pulse was still racing. Zira's words echoed in his mind. "We run." He wanted to argue. He wanted to shout at her for dragging him into this mess. But before he could say anything, Zira was already moving. She pressed a sequence of glowing symbols on a nearby console, and the entire underground chamber shifted. The walls hummed, the floor vibrated, and suddenly the lights changed from cool blue to a warning red. Alex tensed. "Oh, what did you just do?" Zira's voice was sharp. "Lockdown protocol. The hunters will find this place soon. We must leave before they cut off our exit points." Alex swallowed hard. "Yeah, okay. Good plan. Just one problem. Where the hell are we going?" Zira didn't answer immediately. Instead, she gestured for him to follow as she sprinted toward a metal corridor that looked like it led even deeper underground. Alex groaned but ran after her. "I swear," he muttered under his breath, "I was supposed to be watching TV right now, not running from goddamn space assassins." Zira shot him a glance. "Would you rather I left you behind?" Alex opened his mouth, then shut it. As much as he wanted to complain, the truth was painfully clear. If she hadn't taken him with her, he'd already be dead. And somehow, that was even worse than his current situation. A dark revelation. They reached a large, circular chamber with a holographic map in the center. Zira immediately accessed it, swiping symbols across the screen. A new map appeared, showing what looked like a massive underground tunnel system stretching beneath the city. Alex frowned. "Wait, what is this?" Zira's fingers moved quickly over the interface. "An escape route." Alex pointed at the map. "No, I mean this. This whole thing. Are you telling me there's been an alien tunnel system under the city this whole time?" Zira didn't look up. "Yes." Alex threw up his hands. "Unbelievable." Zira ignored him. She was focused on a specific point on the map. a blinking green marker in the farthest corner of the tunnel system. She muttered something in her own language before finally turning to Alex. "This is our only chance," she said. "There's a hidden auxiliary transport station deeper underground. If we can reach it, we can escape the city without being detected." Alex hesitated. Escape to where? Zira's silver eyes locked onto his. To orbit. Silence. Alex stared at her. Orbit. Zira nodded. "There is a hidden auxiliary research vessel stationed in Earth's lower orbit. If we reach it, we will be safe, for now." Alex took a deep breath, trying to process everything. "You're telling me that while we're running for our lives down here, there's a freaking alien spaceship floating above my planet?" Zira's expression was unreadable. "Yes." Alex rubbed his face. "Okay, sure. Why not? Let's just add that to the pile of insane things I've learned today. The hunters are here." Before Zira could respond, the base suddenly shook. Alex nearly lost his balance. "What the?" Then the lights flickered violently. The entire tunnel rumbled, and a loud explosion echoed through the underground structure. Zira's expression darkened. "They have breached the facility." Alex's stomach twisted. So much for that lockdown protocol. Zira grabbed his wrist and pulled him into motion. "We need to move. Now." They sprinted into the tunnel system, the lights above them flashing red as sirens blared. Into the depths. The tunnels were massive, smooth metallic corridors that curved downward, disappearing into the darkness. Zira moved fast, her breathing steady. Alex, on the other hand, was struggling to keep up. "How big is this place?" he panted. Zira didn't break stride. "It extends through multiple levels beneath the city." Alex groaned. "Fantastic. Love a good never-ending secret alien base under my feet." Zira ignored him, checking a holographic map on her wrist device. "We're close," she muttered. Then, out of nowhere, a green energy bolt slammed into the ground right in front of them. Alex stumbled backward, eyes wide. What the hell? Then he saw them. The hunters had arrived. A fight for survival. 4 of them stood at the far end of the tunnel, weapons raised, visors glowing red. One of them stepped forward. "You cannot run, Zira. Surrender now." Zira slowly reached for the sleek silver pistol holstered at her side. Alex swallowed. Please tell me you have a plan." Zira's voice was calm. "Stay behind me." The lead hunter aimed his weapon. Last chance. Zira fired first. A blinding blue bolt shot from her pistol, hitting one of the hunters square in the chest. He staggered back, armor sizzling, but didn't fall. Then the rest of them opened fire. Alex barely had time to react before Zira grabbed his shoulder and shoved him behind a metallic support beam. The tunnel lit up with plasma blasts, green energy streaking through the air. Sparks flew as shots slammed into the walls, leaving molten craters. Zira moved like lightning. She ducked, weaved, returned fire with deadly accuracy. But the hunters were relentless. Alex's hands clenched into fists. He was useless here. Dead weight. He needed to do something. His eyes darted around. Then he saw it. A loose energy conduit hanging overhead. If he could knock it loose. "Zira," he shouted. "Cover me." Zira didn't hesitate. She shifted her position, unleashing a rapid series of shots to keep the hunters distracted. Alex ran. He dove toward a rusted maintenance panel, grabbing a metal pipe lying nearby. Then, using every ounce of strength he had, he slammed it against the conduit. Sparks flew. The conduit shook, cracked. Then, it collapsed, electricity surging through the floor. The hunters reacted too late. The energy disrupted their suits, sending violent blue surges across their armor. Their visors flickered. Their movements glitched. Zira didn't waste the opportunity. She rushed forward, firing 3 precise shots. The lead hunter collapsed. The remaining ones stumbled, their systems failing. Zira grabbed Alex's wrist. "Move." They ran. Behind them, the hunters struggled to recover, but it was too late. The escape tunnel was ahead, and this time, nothing was going to stop them from reaching it. The final pursuit. The escape route. Alex and Zira sprinted through the underground tunnel, their footsteps echoing loudly in the vast metallic corridor. Behind them, the sounds of sparking suits and garbled electronic voices confirmed that the hunters were recovering fast. Zira glanced at her wrist device, her expression tense. "We have 2 minutes before they regain full function." Alex huffed. 2 minutes? That's not a lot of time, Zira. Then run faster. Alex groaned but pushed himself forward, his heart hammering. The tunnel sloped downward, leading to a large reinforced door at the far end. A blinking green hologram hovered above it. Authorized personnel only. Zira raised her hand, and the scanner flashed blue, confirming her identity. The door slid open, revealing a large chamber beyond. Alex's breath caught. The hidden transport. Inside the chamber sat a sleek, dark silver spacecraft, its surface smooth and reflective like liquid metal. The vessel wasn't big, maybe the size of a private jet, but it radiated an unmistakable alien presence. The ship's entrance hissed open, revealing a dimly lit interior lined with glowing blue consoles and floating holographic displays. Alex gawked. "Tell me that's not a spaceship." Zira didn't answer. She just shoved him inside. The moment his foot hit the ramp, the warning alarms blared through the underground base. The hunters were coming. A last-minute problem. Zira darted to the pilot console, her fingers dancing over the controls as the ship hummed to life. Engines glowed softly, filling the air with a deep, thrumming vibration. Alex stumbled to the co-pilot's seat. "Okay, tell me we're about to launch into space like a sci-fi movie." Zira didn't look at him. "Launch is prepped." "But..." She paused. Alex narrowed his eyes. "But what?" Zira exhaled sharply. "The hangar doors won't open." Alex groaned. "Are you kidding me?" She brought up a holographic display, showing the base's security lockdown. The entire hangar was sealed from the outside, and the controls were in a different section of the base. Alex's stomach twisted. That meant someone had to manually override it. Zira met his gaze, her face unreadable. "I need you to stay here." Alex frowned. "Wait. What?" "I'll override the hangar doors manually," she said. "You will remain in the ship. The launch sequence will engage as soon as I return." Alex scowled. "No. That sounds like a terrible plan." Zira's voice was firm. "It is the only plan." Before he could protest, she grabbed something from the ship's storage, a small round device, and tossed it to him. "Keep this with you," she said. Alex caught it, confused. "What is it?" She hesitated. Then, softly, she said, "A failsafe." Then, before he could argue, she turned and ran out of the ship. Zira's final gamble. Alex gritted his teeth, frustration and worry twisting in his gut. "Damn it, Zira." He clutched the round device, watching as she sprinted toward a side exit of the hangar, her silhouette disappearing into the flickering red emergency lights. Seconds passed. Then, gunfire. Alex tensed as he heard plasma shots ringing through the tunnel, followed by Zira's familiar precision bursts in response. His heart pounded. Every instinct screamed at him to do something, but he knew running after her would only slow her down. "Come on, Zira. Hurry up." He tapped his foot anxiously, watching the ship's console. The engines were still primed for launch. The moment the hangar doors opened, they would be free. Then, the ship's sensors flashed red. Alex frowned. What now? He turned toward the holographic radar, and his stomach dropped. Incoming hostiles. A new threat. The underground chamber shook violently as something massive landed on the surface above. The ship's radar displayed a large red blip, something far bigger than the hunters. Then a deep metallic roar echoed through the tunnels. Alex felt a chill crawl down his spine. What the hell was that? The ship's scanners identified it almost instantly. Knew who HFY Sci-Fi wore a drone. Code black. Alex blinked. Code what now? He barely finished the thought before the ceiling rumbled. And then, boom. The hangar doors above them suddenly crumpled inward, torn apart by something monstrous. Through the massive hole in the ceiling, Alex saw it. A towering war drone, easily 4 meters tall, with black reinforced plating and blazing red optics. Its arms unfolded, revealing rotating plasma cannons that glowed with ominous green energy. Alex stared, frozen. Oh, come on. Zaira's return. Just as the war drone locked onto the ship, a streak of blue energy blasted into its side. Zaira's shot. She had returned. Ducking behind a metal beam, Zaira fired 2 more rounds, striking the drone's targeting system. The machine staggered, its left cannon sparking. Alex grabbed the ship's manual weapon controls, struggling to get the targeting system online. Zaira shouted through the ship's intercom. Alex, get the cannons online. Alex gritted his teeth. I'm trying. It's not exactly like using a game controller. The war drone recalibrated and turned its full attention to Zaira. A green energy charge built up in its cannon, ready to fire directly at her. Alex's heart nearly stopped. Zaira, move. At the last second, Zaira leaped into the air, flipping backward as the plasma blast obliterated the metal platform where she had been standing. She landed hard, rolling across the floor, but she wasn't down yet. She pressed a final command on her wrist device, and the hangar doors unlocked. The final countdown. Zaira bolted toward the ship. Alex, start launch sequence. Alex slammed his hand on the control panel, and the ship's systems roared to life. The thrusters ignited, sending a wave of heat through the chamber. The war drone turned toward the ship, realizing what was happening. But it was too late. Zaira jumped onto the ramp, barely making it inside before the ship lifted off the ground. Alex grabbed her arm and pulled her inside. Took you long enough. Zaira smirked, breathless. Wouldn't want you to leave without me. The war drone fired one last desperate shot, but the ship's shields absorbed it as they blasted through the hangar exit, shooting toward the sky. Within seconds, they were airborne and heading straight for orbit. Next stop, space. Alex collapsed into the co-pilot's seat, adrenaline still surging through his veins. He turned to Zaira. So, what now? Zaira exhaled. Then she gazed out at the stars, her silver eyes thoughtful. Now, she said softly, now we find out if humanity can save my people. The ultimate choice. Breaking through the atmosphere. The ship roared as it sliced through Earth's upper atmosphere, leaving behind the chaos of the underground battle. Alex gripped the co-pilot's seat, watching as the blue sky darkened into blackness. Stars blinked into view, vast and endless. His stomach twisted. He was in space. For the first time in his life, he had left Earth. Zaira, seated in the pilot's chair, moved with precise control. Her silver eyes scanned the navigation displays, adjusting their course with ease. The ship stabilized, its engine shifting to a low, steady hum. Alex exhaled. Okay. So, we made it. Zaira nodded. For now. She reached forward, pressing a sequence of glowing holographic symbols on the console. The ship's holographic radar expanded, displaying a massive object floating ahead in the darkness. Alex squinted at the display. What is that? Zaira's expression softened. Home. The Xilari research vessel. The massive structure came into view, a sleek, dark metallic station hovering in the void. Unlike the sharp, industrial look of human space stations, this one was organic in design, like liquid metal had been sculpted into an elegant, spiraling form. Blue luminescent veins ran along its hull, pulsing rhythmically, almost like it was alive. Alex stared in awe. That's a ship. Zaira nodded. The Solstice, a auxiliary research vessel stationed in orbit for the past 6 Earth years. As they approached, a low-frequency transmission crackled over the ship's speakers. Unidentified vessel, you are entering restricted airspace. Identify yourself. Zira pressed a button. This is Zyra Killian. Clearance code, Gamma 12. Priority status. I request immediate docking. A long pause. Then, code confirmed. Docking bay opening. The station's outer ring shifted, revealing a glowing hangar bay. The ship's automated systems took over, guiding them toward the landing pad. As the docking clamps engaged, Alex let out a shaky breath. Well, guess there's no turning back now. Zira looked at him. There never was. Welcome to the Solstice. The airlock hissed open, releasing a faint mist of sterilization gas. Alex followed Zira down the ramp, stepping onto the station's smooth metallic floor. The air smelled different, crisp, artificial, with a faint trace of something electric. The hallway ahead was lined with tall, glowing structures that pulsed like organic veins. Strange, floating drones zipped by, scanning their surroundings. Then, a group of auxiliary scientists approached. Alex stiffened. They were taller than Zyra, their features sharp and elegant, with silver eyes that glowed faintly in the dim light. Their dark uniforms bore intricate symbols, indicating rank and specialty. One of them, an older-looking auxiliary with deep blue markings on his skin, stepped forward. His voice was deep, calm but commanding. Zyra Killian, you were not expected to return. Zira straightened. Unexpected circumstances arose. The older auxiliary's gaze flickered to Alex. His expression darkened. And you brought a human. The debate. Alex shifted uncomfortably under the alien's intense stare. Hi. Zira stepped forward. This is Alex Carter. He is part of my research. The older auxiliary frowned. Your research was to remain strictly observational. No direct contact. Zira's voice was firm. That was before I realized how important human DNA might be to our survival. A tense silence. Alex cleared his throat. Yeah, so I just found out I might be part of an intergalactic science experiment. Cool. But while we're all standing around judging me, can someone explain why your people are dying? The older auxiliary gave him a sharp look. You are an outsider. This is not your concern. Alex folded his arms. Pretty sure it is, considering I was almost erased from existence just for knowing Zyra. Zira turned toward the other auxiliary. We don't have time for protocol. The hunters nearly captured us. Their faction will do whatever it takes to erase all evidence of my research, including eliminating all involved parties. The older auxiliary's gaze darkened. Then they are already on their way. Zira nodded, which is why we must act now. The ultimate choice. The tension in the room was suffocating. Alex took a deep breath. Okay. Zira said humans might be able to help your species. How? The older auxiliary sighed. Our genetic code is deteriorating. We have mastered technology beyond your comprehension, but evolution cannot be forced. Our bodies are reaching a point of irreversible failure. Alex frowned. And humans? Zyra answered. Humans have one of the most adaptable genetic structures we have ever encountered. Unlike most advanced species, your DNA remains highly malleable, capable of rapid mutation and improvement across generations. Alex blinked. You're saying we're good at evolving? Zira nodded. Yes. The older auxiliary stepped forward. For years, we studied from a distance, but no simulation, no model can answer the real question. He looked directly at Alex. Are humans genetically compatible with us? Silence. Alex's mind went blank. Then he slowly pointed at himself. Wait. Hold up. You're asking me. The older auxiliary nodded. You are the first human to directly engage with our species at this level. You carry the answer to the question we have sought for years. Alex swallowed hard. And if I say no? The auxiliary's expression was unreadable. Then our people will continue to decline. Eventually, we will fade from existence. Alex glanced at Zara. Her expression was guarded, but there was something vulnerable in her eyes. He took a deep breath. And if I say yes? Zara's voice was soft. Then you become part of something greater. Alex exhaled slowly. This wasn't just about survival. This was about the future of an entire species. He looked around at the auxiliary scientists, then at Zara, and he made his choice. Epilogue. A new beginning. Somewhere, in the vast darkness of space, a new chapter of history was being written. The first recorded union between humanity and an advanced alien species. A partnership. A chance for survival. And perhaps something more. As the auxiliary prepared for the next phase of their research, Zara turned to Alex with a rare, almost human-like smile. "Welcome to the future, Alex Carter." Alex sighed. "I really hope I don't regret this." Zara smirked. No promises. Above them, the stars shined brighter than ever.